My room, and I see there's plenty water around here. It come and reach my ear, but I can't come out. By the moment I'm trying to come outside, and I see my wall has fell down at once. Boom! This is the wall. You can see the wall. This is the wall.
Their tenants have now taken the hard decision to vacate their rooms just before the rainy season.
If you look around here, no one is staying here. No one is staying here. No one. Everybody has gone. Everybody has gone. Now it left me, only me here now.
Okay. Ghana typically sees a significant increase in rainfall volumes during June, with average precipitation ranging from 200 mm to 250 mm. This makes June the wettest month in Ghana. And every one of these individuals are traumatized and experience heart palpitations when May gives way to June.
Yes, so buy any baby.
We are scared. We have nowhere to go.
But right now we can't repair it because we are fear. We fear the rain. You understand?
We can't do anything about it when it rains. It's scary.
I've packed most of the clothes on a special shelf far from the reach of the water.
For some of them, no matter how much they have tried to solve the problem, it hasn't yielded much, and it appears their local authorities have given up on them.
Later air conditioning, they are eating our taxes money. The one was how one book a fit that it doesn't make sense.
Still, we have to play the government to come and help us more because of the gutters.
They are appealing to the government to extend the length of the walls of the drains and help us desilt them.
This time, they want action before the rains set in, so that at least for once they can sleep knowing that the rains will not disturb them. They are calling on their members of parliament, their MCs, and government in itself to come to their aid so that they can win this fight. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
And there's more on this flooding issue because in the western region, a 3-year-old nursery 2 pupil, Angela Gamaji, has been killed after heavy rains at Bibeni in the Bibeni Bekwai municipality. Family members of the deceased Jacqueline in Nansuri indicated that after the rain, she went to pick the victim from school, only to be informed that the child fell into the drain and drowned. Well, her teacher at the victim's school, Owusu Roxon, has been offering some clarity as to what exactly may have happened. Well, we'll get to some updates on that later on today on the polls. We are also exploring the possible solutions to the perennial flooding situation. Divine Ahaji is a professor of construction and human sciences development at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology with more than 20 years experience in teaching and research as well as project management. Joins us via Zoom now. Thank you, Prof, for your time. I'm wondering what may be your solution, knowing that there are a number of reports recommending to the authorities what exactly should be done about this perennial flooding issue. What else could be done just to solve this problem?
Thank you very much, and let me say good evening to your viewers, and also very sad listening to this depressing news that we hear every day, which has become an annual affair. You know, I think if we want to trace back to the issue about floods in Accra now, as you said, we have gone over this several years, and it's good you are asking the question, what should be the way forward now? And I can tell you that with what you are recounting now, including what has been presented, Accra has gone past the stage where we should be talking about we want to stop or prevent flooding. The conversation should actually now be around reducing the risk, but more importantly, we have gotten to the stage where perhaps we need to be discussing what we call living with water. Because if you look at the situation now, we have made so many mistakes in the past regarding infrastructure and how we have treated urbanization in terms of housing development and other things, which you all know. And so that's why we don't want to go back to it. And so many of our people are living in flood-prone areas. We are aware of that. And we don't have the resources to say we want to resettle them. And we are adopting what we call the flood risk management approach, which is normally trying to use institutions to address the situation. And it has not worked for us up till now. But then, instead of bringing the community on board, especially regarding what we call resilience, which is now the trend that is actually supported by the Sendai framework, the narration has always been on government and infrastructure deserting without bringing the community into it. And I think this is where the conversation now must begin to change, for the people to know that where we have gotten to, government, of course, is supposed to be doing its part relating to the flood risk management approach, but communities should now begin to know that we have gotten to the stage where we must all learn to live with the water, so that communities now coming on board in terms of resilience strategies will also be incorporated seriously into our discussions. For instance, when you interviewed the people who talked in that sad situation, and very sad indeed, but it was interesting that towards the end, all of them were pointing to the government, and one could sense that there's no community mobilization issue within themselves as to what they can also do or as community to support government initiatives. And that's why I'm saying that this is where the narration and the conversation is hugely missing in our attempt in trying to address flood issues in the country. And I think to answer your question, it's an area that we need to take seriously. And then going forward, now the issue about nature-based solutions is also something which is very critical. If you look at Accra, densely populated, very highly little green areas, but there's no conscious effort to, as I said earlier, to bring the community still to be able to look at how nature-based solutions and green architecture can seriously be incorporated into our infrastructure development. And this is also because of the way our housing development approach is, with this self-build approach where if you get your money, you build your house. But you are aware that there are many people in this country who haven't got resources to build what we call the flood resilient construction, so that they will be able to build their houses so that it will be able to resist flooding. And so there's the need for support and integrated approach. But we have left all this and thinking that things can just happen in an ad hoc situation. And I think that is what has been the bane of our problem up to today.
How about a decongestion exercise? Is that something you would opt for?
Yeah, a decongestion is part of the solution, but that's why I said that it's all a matter of resources. And I think when you were speaking to the victims over there, some of them posed the question, where are they moving them to? If the place is available, that is fine. In fact, based on a recent study we did from my center and together with the Technical University of Munich in Germany, especially focusing on the outdoor catchment area, it was the same thing that came out, because it turned out that the place is heavily congested and many of the flood-prone areas have been occupied. And we attempted to design what we call a large retention basin, which is one of the recommendations by the European Community for Environment and Water that when it comes to such situations, you need to adopt what we call the integrated river basin approach, which might also include retention basin. And we found out that in terms of location, where to locate the retention basin, it was very difficult because the whole area was populated. And as you are asking, one of the suggestions will be to decongest the place or move the people. But the question was, where are you going to move them to? And so if government has the means to be able to find a place for them, I think that will also be a very good solution. But that should not be alone. Once there's this decongesting, we must make sure that we are now going back to a very systematic approach of the way we develop our settlements, including re-engineering. But then if we decongest and allow the status quo to remain, then I'm afraid we are not doing anything.
How about policy measures? What should we be possibly looking at? Because for instance, we know of the Gary project. There are some, hurdles to that, particularly around the same area where you conducted the research, densely populated area. And so even the construction of the new drains are not moving as smooth as everyone would have wanted it to go. So what more policy measures will be very much necessary at this point in changing the narrative and trying to put a stop to all of these?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned policy, because one would say Ghana is a country that is quick to go into policies, and then when it comes to the implementation becomes an issue. But I would say that, yeah, it's a valid question. One area that I will still insist on is the issue of what is the policy guiding community involvement in flood resilience. So, for instance, when it comes to community issues, how far can communities go to mobilize themselves in terms of perhaps putting up a small drain in their community or diverting a particular stream that is causing problems in their area? Or what should happen if they have to come together to want to develop a flood risk map for their community and all those things? These are things which have to emanate from policy issues to guide them so that they see what their roles are in this perspective. And that's what I've said earlier, that our narration and discussion when it comes to flood is always about putting up infrastructure to prevent flooding and also deserting. That is where the conversations always goes around. But then there's the need now, as you are saying, for us to begin to look at how the policy will tend to focus on what the communities can do to help themselves. And of course, they will always also welcome government support.
And speaking about personal responsibility as well, what can we do in that regard? Because some are helpless based on the community and the area, geographic area within which they find themselves. But if you're still prone to the flooding, what else could you do at your personal level to ensure safety? First of all, at least that's the ultimate aim.
That's I think that's why I said where we have gotten to now. Communities will first need to accept that once government is doing its part and it's still very difficult for us to solve the problem, you also have a very big role to play. And so if, for instance, you live in an area where flooding is an issue because people put refuse into the drains, it has to be a community effort where those things can be stopped. And so the first thing that one will expect to be a kind of community forum for people to engage themselves and begin to understand that where we have gotten to, flooding is not an individual affair anymore, but it affects all of us, and we all need to play a personal role in it. And then from there, if they need some technical support, then that is where they can channel their approach to government to come and also help in that perspective. I think when you spoke to one of the ladies, she said now when flooding is approaching, she has to pack some of her things at the higher level, and that is part of the resilience approach, which is going to what we call adaptation. And it is something that people have been doing it on their individual basis, but collectively, they need to share knowledge amongst themselves so that they can all come together and understand that when there's going to be a flooding, this is the way we have to approach things in a common way. And another important thing that we need to be looking at is the issue of response and recovery. So you can see that these people are very helpless, and they are asking where should we go to? We need to begin to look at this issue of living with water and begin to earmark areas which we can call evacuation centers, so that people are taken through a kind of rehearsal for them to know that when situations like this are happening, this is where we are all supposed to converge. And I think this is the time that maybe assemblymen in the areas must also be empowered to be able to play a very key role in the question that you just asked. And in ending, what I would say that based on a study that we did in Kumasi, which maybe I want to translate to Accra, where the findings were suggesting that MPs and chiefs and then assemblymen have an important role to play in this problem that we are facing. I think although the study was done in Accra, it has a reflection across the country. And it's important. I heard that Parliament is calling the Minister for Works and Housing to come to Parliament to answer questions. But I'm also saying that it's time for the MPs to move into their communities and share knowledge with the assemblymen and the chiefs or people who oversee the area to see how they can mobilize the community and also mobilize resources to bring the communities on board so that we can all begin to speak the common language when it comes to flood resilience, because flood risk management alone will not help us.
Professor Divine Nahyanji, thank you for spending some time with us here on The Pulse. Let's head to the English Amafrom area where residents have been cut off from the rest of the Gan South municipality due to heavy rains, which started yesterday. The road network leading to the community has been submerged. Maxwell Agbagba is our man on the ground, joins us with more on this. Maxwell, where are you now and what's been the level of devastation going on there? Well, we'll get to Maxwell for you, but earlier he's been to the community and comes through with this report.
This is the main road that connects Peace Town to the capital and other adjoining communities. Life here has come to complete halt because the main road here has been rendered impassable. Many workers, school children, are unable to go to school in their various workplaces because they simply cannot cross. They have been cut off. And these men who you see here did not go to work today. Some of them who are taxi drivers here in this community are unable to cross to the other side. Behind me is a stream that overflowed its banks and displaced many from their homes. A resident, Samuel Obinyako, has been telling me how they managed to rescue 10 children. He says that for the time intervention, some lifeguards who were on standby, they would have died.
I was inside and I saw people shouting, screaming, and say, "Oh, let me come out." Even me, I wanted to go and buy something. And I was okay. I saw them screaming and I said, "Oh, wow." Then I went there to help them, and I saw people coming up from their houses and they want to rescue people. So we gathered boys and also helped them to rescue some of the kids, like 10 kids. And doing that rescue, then we saw a certain woman and the two kids. Drowning, like coming from they are in the water coming. So today I heard that they were rescued at this place. So I say okay, then fine. But people were calling me, how was it? I was thinking maybe the water sent them away. But today I heard that they are fine. So
hundreds of residents are not willing to risk it through this flood water. Many of them who have no choice are compelled to wade through it. I've been speaking to a man who had to carry his 6th son behind him to the hospital. He says government should fix the challenge here. Okay, this is your child?
My child.
He's sick?
He's sick.
Okay, so tell us a bit about it.
Because of rain, this morning before you are going, here be full of. Before I carry go, I go there say body not feel well. When the check coming, so my son is sick, so that's why I go to him.
Okay, but you didn't get any car to get him to cross?
No car. No car.
So that's why you had to carry him on
carry him for hospital.
Okay. All the taxi drivers in this community who ply these roads to Peace Town and its adjoining communities are idle today. There's no work to be done. I've been speaking to Seth Obeng, who is one of them. He's frustrated about the situation.
Yeah, but this is where we live for some time now. But yesterday, what happened was terrible, and we couldn't even to cross the river surf. It's not easy for us. Yesterday, around 9 p.m., it was terrible. People were coming from work, and they couldn't problem like yesterday. So we want our MP to come to the area to come and visit us. Since these problems happened, we haven't seen the MP around, especially the MC. Even if we don't know him, he have to come and take care of the situation so that we know that we have elders somewhere. But there's nothing of sort going on. So please, we are pleading to the authority to come and visit us to solve the problem.
Well, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Kisford Magbin, has directed Finance Minister Ken Fureta and his colleague Minister, Works and Housing Minister Francis Asenso-Wachi, to appear before the House and brief MPs on preparedness to prevent flooding with the onset of the rains. It comes after Minority Chief Whip Governs Kwame Abuja delivered a statement on the floor calling for an urgent action after yesterday's downpour, which left most communities flooded.
Out of the downpour yesterday, areas specifically Botiano, English, Amafrom constituency, which belongs to one of our colleagues, got heavily flooded, Mr. Speaker, and as a result, the news reports suggest that a lady and two of her kids are currently missing since yesterday. I take the opportunity to commend the agencies still working to hopefully find them alive. We are also aware that some people are injured and lots of properties have been damaged. Mr. Speaker, we want to take the opportunity to commiserate with our colleague, Honorable Sly Tete, who is a member of parliament from that area. I suspect he's within the area now, trying to do whatever he can do as a member of parliament to help his people. We also understand that areas like part of Ofankor and Ashalaja, some areas have been cut off completely because of the flooding. And Mr. Speaker, the rains have just started. The Wager Dam is yet even to be spilled. And this calls for this House to probably call upon our respected colleague, the Minister, responsible for Works and Housing, to apprise the House as to what steps he is taking to avert further damage and loss.
Well, member of the Works and Housing Committee, Andrew Derry, has blamed the recurring flood situation on the sector minister, who he accused of failing to live up to his responsibility.
It's huge. And you and I know the problem of Ghana, especially Accra. You see, for the flooding in Accra, we know it's perennial. It's something that happens almost every year. But as a people, I don't think we are investing enough to prevent it. I know there are people who deliberately cause some of these activities. Those who build on waterways, those who throw their waste products in gutters, those who construct even roads to their houses. They block some of the waterways. But I think as a people, we should have laws that work. It's just because we do not implement our laws. We all know that every year, as a ministry, we need to drain to dredge the drains, especially the Odo. But for some time now, they would mention to us They have done the dredging, yet you go there and you don't see any activity going on. What is appalling is about the way the ministers talk. And that is why we think that the minister should come and answer some questions. We are aware that before Akufo-Addo became the president, he spoke so much about how he was going to handle issues in Ghana. When he became the president, he told us he was going to make Accra the cleanest city within 2 years. But the situation has worsened under his watch. If he was doing the job well, we wouldn't have been here today talking about it. It tells you that he's not doing the job well. You see, the person that this has affected, the member of parliament, he happens to be one of their members of parliament, a very vocal person. I know if it was someone else, that member of parliament would have been here talking, he would have been here making a lot of comments and other things.
Well, Speaker of Parliament Alvin Bagwe, who was furious about the situation, directed the Finance and Works and Housing Minister to come before Parliament by next week to detail their plans to stop Accra's perennial flooding.
Definitely give the instructions, and the instructions are to the effect that the minister responsible for works and housing be programmed by the business committee to appear before the House together with the Minister for Finance and to give us a brief on action being taken to make this a thing of the past. And so we expect that latest before the end of next week, these ministers should appear before us. If the substantive minister is not there, there is a minister of state at the Ministry of Finance who could come to represent him. I was informed that the substantive minister is traveled, but in case he's not available, the other minister will come to represent him. Honorable members, this is a very important subject matter, and I believe that one of the ways we could support national leadership to find solution is for us to pass the Budget Act. Why should they be desilting? We should construct structures in such a way that there are no open gutters. We should. The way we are looking at housing as if it's a private venture is wrong. The house you build is not for you. It's for the community. People come in at any time and sleep with you. And so the society has a role led by the state to provide shelter over the heads of people. That is a serious priority. Because after air, water, food, the next thing is what? Shelter. Shelter. But we rather spend a lot of money on useless things.
And thanks for staying with us here on the Pulse on the Journey channel. We'll be right back. Seeing an increased use of artificial intelligence. Well, it's taking center stage in many fields of endeavor. In sports, many of the lesser-known sports are beginning to adopt and use artificial intelligence for fast-tracking their activities. Even in the media space, we're seeing the use of artificial intelligence raising questions about the future of the technology and its likely impact on everyday life. Let's bring in a number of individuals helping us to discuss and to look at the impact of AI on our daily lives. Joining us now is Xiaoming Zhai. He's with the Department of Mathematics, Science and Social Studies, Education. That's for Mary Frances Early College of Education, University of Georgia. We have Richard Nunekbeku, who's the managing partner for Sustainary Attorneys. He is a lawyer and also expert in fintech and artificial intelligence. and machine learning. Dr. Richard Aqua Coleman is a lecturer, industrial and organizational psychologist, and we have Professor Mahmed Gunu, who's the Dean of Faculty, University of Development Studies. Matthew Nyaba is a doctoral student for the Department of Educational Theory and Practice, University of Georgia, USA, and Noble Salom Jer is the Deputy Programs Manager for Teacher Education Journal. Let me start off with you, Xiaoming Ziai. For those who may not be conversant with the technology itself, what can you say about artificial intelligence?
Well, thank you so much for your question. I think artificial intelligence has great potential to transform education, including other domains in our life. I think if we look at our everyday life, from like purchasing from Amazon or search on Google and everywhere, right? Artificial intelligence is transforming our life. From the educational perspective, we are using artificial intelligence to provide a customized learning opportunity for all students. We're trying to use AI, including machine learning, to provide a timely feedback for students' learning. So from my perspective and in my research, I think artificial intelligence hold the strong promise, and I really feel very excited living in this era like artificial intelligence is available in our life. Thank you.
And some fields are beginning to adopt artificial intelligence. Of course, we know of the sporting industry, and not just sports, but even when it comes to radio and TV broadcasts, for instance, some of these technologies are being used elsewhere. There's a concern about jobs and job security. Should that be a worry for many?
From my perspective, I really don't think that's going to be a real worry. But I think in the history, so whenever new technology, created, and there always be worries about whether technology can substitute humans' work. But I think we, from all the history we learn, that technology always make great contribution to our life. And I also want to highlight is technology itself is not good or bad, right? It really depends on how humans use technology. Technology itself is morally neutral. And I think it's very critical, like for us to start to think about how can we make use of technology so that every people can benefit from technology. In the educational field, a lot of people were thinking, well, if AI is going to be used in classroom, whether artificial intelligence will substitute teachers' job. I think artificial intelligence can serve as a really good partner and intelligent partner for teachers, but many critical decision has to be made by teachers so that the students can benefit from the technology. And I haven't seen the possibility that artificial intelligence will substitute teachers or create some risk or crisis for teachers' job. I think the same thing might also happen in other areas. I think it's critical for us to think about how can we prepare our future citizen and our future, citizen, so that they can be successful in their the new position they're going to face, where artificial intelligence will be available for them, right? So I think artificial intelligence can make their job easier, and maybe as educators, we have to reflect what kind of competence we need to prepare our students so that they can be successful in the future. Thank you.
So what would you say will be the impact on the education sector?
Well, I think right now there's a lot of discussion about the potential impact to education, right? First of all, I think we have to think about the educational goals. What impact artificial intelligence towards the educational goals is first thing we need to reflect, because education serves our society by preparing future workforce, right? If technology like artificial intelligence will be available in the future, then which means like for some students, right, they probably will not need rely on some will not rely on some like basic skills to be successful in the future. And many people previously, for some job they might not qualified to do the job, but in the future, with the help of artificial intelligence, they might be qualified for that kind of job, right? And at the same time, we need to think about what's the critical competence that will be essential for students to be successful in their future. In that sense, I think we need to adjust the educational goals from ours. I think right now there's a lot of researchers, they started to think and publish some papers and discuss about this aspect. Another very important aspect is about like if we revise our educational goals, then how are we going to approach our educational goals? Like what kind of materials we're going to develop, curriculum materials we need to prepare for students, and what kind of content they need to learn, and also like how what kind of pedagogy we're going to use to prepare students and also prepare our future teacher, right, so that they can be successful in the classroom. In all, I think the impact can be huge. So we need to, I don't think the impact has already taken effect right away, but I think we need to prepare really well so that we can meet any challenge brought by the artificial intelligence to education.
Let me bring in Richard Nupeno. You've been listening to him, the point about his side of the view in terms of the impact on jobs. What do you also have to say about the fear for the massive loss of jobs if we're to adopt AI?
Thank you, and thank you to your viewers and listeners. I think that the understanding of the concept of AI will be important in understanding whether its effect will be on job losses or creating new jobs. Because basically what AI is supposed to help us do is supposed to enable humans to perform the tasks we hitherto do more effectively and more efficiently. Because as part of our creation, God has given us natural talent, and we are endowed to think, imagine, and to act. And in that process over the period, we've been able to more or less generate a lot of data that at every point in time, if as humans we want to go through that data ourselves to be able to make the next best decisions, it is becoming difficult. So computers have come in play to ensure that as much as possible, we are able to effectively mine or more or less go through all that data that we have over time and provide the predictive best results that are close to if I was thinking as a human and performing that task. So if you situate that within the job market, you observe that what it requires now is for us to acquire new skills, because ultimately AI and its technologies and whatever will be developed along its path will not by themselves be able to do the job. Human beings must still have to input whatever outcomes AIs are going to give us. So it means that we have to now begin to develop new skills. We need to begin to reorient our approach to work and also be ready for the next phase of the job market. So if, for instance, today you do not have a computer skills and you are not able to understand how to use computers, how to use laptops, tablets, and whatever there is, it means that tomorrow there will be jobs that will be available for persons who know how to use computers. So you who have not prepared yourself for that tomorrow will be out of the job market. It is not because AI has come into play. It is because you are not ready to be able to participate in the new opportunities that AI is creating. So for us as human beings who are responding to this new innovation, we must begin to ask ourselves, how prepared are we, or what initiatives are we taking to be able to situate ourselves for the new jobs that are being created with technology.
And Dr. Coleman, the issue about integrating that into our curriculum, at least so the future generation can get used to the technology before mainstreaming. Can we achieve that? Dr. Coleman, we're having some challenges hearing you. If you could just unmute for us so we can hear the point you're making.
So, like I was saying, it depends on the strategies we are going to put in place to really ensure that this is really done. Because artificial intelligence, if you look at the industry, it's just growing. A lot of investments are going into it. So it has come to stay. And so we just have to find a way to embrace it. You know that in our part of the world, job opportunities, the job market is very limited compared to other places. And that is why perhaps the anxiety, the fear about losing jobs, the automation, that is where perhaps it is coming from. And one of the things that, from a psychological point of view, it has to be mentioned is that these are machines or computer programs that are performing things that hitherto human beings are supposed to require human intellect to do so. And now computers or machines are really taking over. Now, there are certain basic skills in terms of cognitive abilities like memory recall, problem solving, and what have you, that we often do with our mind, with our brains, and all that. Normally, when people overly rely on machines and computers to do things for them, it also decreases this aspect of our basic cognitive ability in terms of our memory recall and our problem solving and all that. And so, especially within the secondary school or the educational system, I expect that some kind of regulation will be put in place. For example, students who are using AI, what is the mindset? What is the attitude for using it? Or I'm going to use this thing to do this for me, rather than I'm going to use this as a tool to help me to do this. Once we begin to interpret or see these things more as a tool, rather than something that is going to substitute maybe our problem-solving ability or our memory recall, then it becomes an issue in the long run, to the extent that now certain basic functions that we are supposed to perform with our own minds and brain becomes an issue. And once we are not able to do that, it also goes a long way to affect our own self-confidence or our self-esteem, because now without the access of this, if there is light off, and how to do something, because there's no light for you to now access your computer, and that in itself can also have a toll on your self-confidence or self-esteem. So if it could easily be regulated in a way that students that are using this, they will see it as a tool that will support or help them, but not to replace their own human abilities, and that for me would be very great.
Gunu, your take on this?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to look at it in the context of education delivery in Ghana. And what I want to mention is that AI is now the new wind blowing globally. And the point is, there's nothing we can do than to prepare ourselves for the opportunities and the challenges associated with that. And I'm happy that we have started this conversation. Globally, a lot of conferences are ongoing. For instance, this month in Tokyo, the International Conference on Artificial Intelligence and Education in Ghana will be held. So it is important that we start the process to see how we can prepare our teachers to be able to take an opportunity that is currently in Ghana. Whether we like it or not, artificial intelligence is in Ghana. So what can we do? We need to support the government to construct policies that can support the use of artificial intelligence in the educational delivery in Ghana. If that is not done, there is a possibility that we encounter a lot of challenges. In the first instance, the skills that the teachers are needed to be able to perform that responsibility. Secondly, we are preparing students to work in the job market. And whether we like it or not, there will be issues of this nature. So our students should be well prepared to be in the job market. And remember, we are now preparing individuals for the global market. And that is what individuals are encouraging global citizenship at this moment. So there's nothing we can do than to get ourselves involved in this new opportunity to handle our students to be able to deliver in the job market. So I feel that these are opportunities for us, but we must be able to support the government to construct policies that can support its usage in our schools. Thank you.
You are a student, and so you've been interacting with your colleagues on this technology. Do you feel that people in your age bracket are beginning to accept and incorporate the use of AI in their daily lives?
The reality is we must be willing to be part of this global agenda, whether we like it or not. And that is why I mentioned earlier that it is important this conversation is started. In my university, the Center for Educational Leadership and Innovation is prepared to work with colleagues in various universities to have a national dialogue on this important issue. So I want to mention that it won't take time. We would be extending an invitation to colleagues in sister universities to join University for Development. That is a Center for Educational Leadership and Innovation.
Okay, I was asking Matthew.
Yes.
Yeah, I was asking Matthew about, I mean, since he's a student, the experience and, of course, the interaction with colleagues on campus. Matthew, if you can just feed into the conversation that Prof was raising earlier.
All right, thank you very much, Blessed. And then I would also want to thank you for this initiative, and then the other organizers, and then also our viewers. As a student, I've been working with Dr. Shai on the different research on AI, and then the happenings in the AI concerning maybe students, how we use it. For me, from my perspective as a student, I would say AI has come to stay, and then it has come to help. But it all depends on how we are going to use it, how we are going to put regulations to guide students in using it. A typical example that I can give is that recently we had undergraduate students. I'm a graduate teaching assistant myself, so I also assess students. So we had undergraduate students who have started using AI in answering their project works and some of the take-home assignments that you give to them, So, and we have a unit that deals with that, which you call academic honesty unit. So academic honesty units got to know that some people use AI in answering their assessment items. They call the student, and the student, the response the student gave was something that you cannot penalize the student. The student said that I used a machine, I didn't plagiarize. I didn't plagiarize. So in this way, what can you do? So, it becomes a challenge on educators. It becomes a challenge on policymakers to now rethink about how can we assess our educational outcomes. And for me, I have taught in Ghana for some time now, and also being a student, knowing what is happening. Students are using it. I had opportunity to interact with some students even in Ghana, and some of them are using it. Within them, they know that, whatever they are doing, and that is not the right thing, but they are enjoying it. How can we capitalize on it and use it to help them to learn? We have had a lot of students who suffer in learning even second language. AI has come to support the system. So for me, I am thinking we shouldn't see it as an enemy. Let us embrace it. Let us help students to rather know how to use it, guide them, and assist them. And then another thing that I want to talk about is Ghana education system, how we maybe implement our teaching and assessment, AI has come as a game changer. Dr. Shai wrote a paper on AI as a game changer. And I think it is more pertinent to us as a developing country. So as a game changer, because the way and manner we teach and assess our students has not been the best so far. If you can go back to educational reforms, all the factors that necessitate educational reforms has been on the fact that we overemphasize on content-based knowledge, cognitive skills development. You know, Dr. Coleman mentioned something. It is very important. It is true. We want critical thinking. But our education system, even the new curriculum, when we go back to it, we have 6 core competencies that guides it. And with the hopes that students can acquire these competencies, and these competencies will help them to meet the demands of the industrial world and event develop the country. But you know, we have something we call dominant teaching and assessment. Teachers will still teach the way they have been teaching, reduce these competencies back to content-based learning. And that has been our issue. So I see it as a game changer, a changer if and only if we are able to capitalize on the positive and then to get a positive effect. It is going to be a game changer if and only if we remain and keep on grumbling of the effect and then maybe the negative, then it will continue to harm us in a negative way. So a game changer, we have 3, finally I want to touch on this, we have 3 domains in education psychologically. We have the affective domain, we have the cognitive domain, and we have the psychomotor domain. And in education, that's the main. In education, when you're teaching, you're supposed to promote all these 3 domains. And it's believed that these domains will gear towards educational outcomes and then in effect develop the country. But then in our education system, it has always been cognitive domain. How do we teach the affective and assess the psychomotor domains? So now that AI has come and it's going to supplement, if we embrace it, it will supplement the cognitive domain aspect. But the current research we conducted proved that AI is able to unlock higher order thinking abilities and then the cognitive loads. So it is going to supplement this aspect and pave way for teachers, educators, and policymakers to find out how we can now implement the psychomotor domain aspect and then the affective domain aspect, which we need. We need in Ghana, we need it for our development. The industrial world needs skilled personnel. We need that. So in my view, students are using it at the moment. And what we have to do is that we embrace it, know how we can help students in a positive way so that they can use it to benefit themselves. It's not about who is using it and who should we assess and left behind. It's about we want them to acquire it. Now through AI, I can go to China, though I'm not a Chinese, but I can use AI tools to communicate with somebody in Chinese. So if we want to focus on the liberal education of arithmetic, reading, writing, and keep on saying that, oh, it's going to affect us. It's going to affect us because that is what we have been teaching. But if it's now going to help us to change how we teach and how we assess our students, which it's already enshrined in the curriculum and we are not doing it. So now we will now be thinking of how do we assess them? Do we want to assess them on product base? Do we want to assess them on performance base? Or we still want to assess them on content base? So Blessed, if you should ask me, that would be the little thing I can say about AI. But then I hope that educators will embrace it. We shouldn't see it as something that is coming to harm us. Thank you.
Noel?
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Blessed, for the opportunity. And a very good evening to listeners and viewers. I think the panelists have highlighted enough on the potential of AI and then what it can do. But I would like to just take it from the perspective of now that AI is here, what do? We talk about the potential it has for education. What are the gaps that are there? And I think that despite we having the conversations about policies and curriculum, those are very long-term processes, and we in Ghana actually know what the challenges are with, trying to shift with a new system that is existent. So for the interim, in my experience, what I would suggest is that just like stakeholders always provide interventions to support education, the very first point of supporting AI integration in education has to do with professional development for teachers. Now, like I always say, teachers are like the wheels of a vehicle. Without them, well, they are not moving, then the policies are not going to be implemented and education is not going to be impacted in any way. And I also agree with Matthew when he says that we need to look at the way we assess students and the way we design learning experiences for our learners. So if you look at the training that we normally receive in Ghana from our school system, it's more of ability to remember, ability to understand, and at best apply. I think with AI, more of these issues having to do with memorizing lots of content, trying to record the content, and try to just do simple literacy and numeracy assessments is not going to help. And so with the AI coming in, more of the issues that have to do with recall of content and all that is going to already be done by the AI. And that is why, because the questions that teachers set is based on recall of these content, most of the students are falling back on the use of AI to get answers to questions. So I think this is, in a way, going to help education in Ghana, because then if teachers are going to want to put out credible assessment, they have to focus on questions or projects that will cause students to create projects, things that they will have to analyze the understanding of the content to be able to create those solutions. So I think that the teacher educators, teachers, anybody who has to do with education, who is having a key role to play in learning, should be looking at how they are redesigning their assessments for learners to be engaged in higher learning. Now, I think it's also the role of key stakeholders. Last month, 2 weeks ago, the Teacher Education Journal, in partnership with the Gambaga College of Education and then the UDS, organized a forum for teachers. Now, two things we observed in that engagement was that tutors were curious about the technology. And so from their engagements with us, you also understand that they have limited knowledge. So those are the two things. The good news is that they are curious about it. They are interested in the technology. So then what we need to do as education stakeholders, what we need to do as experts in AI is to provide more of these opportunities for teachers to engage with the tools that are available in terms of use of AI, how they can even check the students' assessment to be sure that, okay, this student is using AI. And so then, of course, we're going to always have the issues of ethics coming in, learners trying to use the AI to solve questions and all that's coming in. But I think it's very crucial, the aspect of providing support for the system, support for the teachers, enough training for the teachers on how to use AI, so then we are not left behind in the conversation about how AI should be used. Dr. Coleman Riley said, AI is moving at a speed that if you don't take it as a developing country, you may not be able to catch up. So there is not a time for a country like Ghana to maybe try discussing issues of disadvantages of AI. I think we need to actually see how well we can actually situate the conversation of AI within the context of Ghana. Conversations are currently going on about policies to restrict the use of AI, and I think it's going to be very difficult for us to focus on that as a country. What we can focus on is providing enough training opportunities for teachers, providing enough sensitization for students on how they can better use AI to support their learning. And I think with that, we are good to go as a country.
We need to go. Let me hear from each and every one of you on the future and what your personal outlook is. Let me start off with you, Xiaoming, joining us, of course, from the Mary Frances Early College of Education. What do you see going forward as the future of this technology?
Thank you so much for your question. I think on the one aspect, I think artificial intelligence provides a great opportunity for us. I think to move forward, we need also to concern any potential risk or negative aspect of artificial intelligence potentially could bring to our life. For example, there might be some limitation of artificial intelligence algorithm. And so far, according to our research, we find that any algorithm has limitations. And so we need to educate the users to aware of the limitation of artificial intelligence so that they can use the algorithm in the life appropriately and correctly. Otherwise, there might be some risk to generate potential bias or some negative outcome from artificial intelligence in education. So I think move forward, what we need to do another aspect is like we need to really prepare future teachers to think about like, okay, if we're going to change the educational rules and we're going to change the pedagogy to approach the educational goal, then what kind of professional learning we need to provide to our teachers so that they can be successful, right? Teacher always will be the central role in classroom. And from my personal perspective, I really don't think artificial intelligence will substitute teacher. In that sense, like, how can we help teacher to coordinate the relationship between like a teacher themselves, students, and the technology, right? That's going to be a central theme in the educational field, I think, in the future. And we need to put a lot of effort to study so that we can better benefit the artificial intelligence for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear from Richard. What's your outlook?
Thank you, Bless. For me, I think that technology has been the leveler for us as community. So either you are in a developed world or in a developing country, technology provides a tool where participants at all levels can have the same benefit and are exposed to equal risk. And AI is the next level of that opportunity that we must leverage. So my warning is that there's been a growing concern about whether this is the time for us to begin to think about laws that regulate the use of AI. We are not there yet. It's a developing technology. We should focus on its use cases across various industries. Yes, there are concerns about its impact on issues of privacy, data protection, and issues of theft, issues of exposure of minors to harmful content online and all that. But it is not the time for us to begin to think about regulating AI, because that is technology. In itself, it is not relevant. It is how people are using it that is making the technology very useful. So we must begin to look at policies around the use cases. How are we using AI, for instance, in education?
Okay.
How are we using it in our finances? How are we using it across food and drugs, across issues of movement of people? So those use cases and how we fashion our policies that respond to a very transparent and accountable use of AI should be the goal, but not to be focusing on putting a regulation to regulate it.
Unfortunately, we've been timed out. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on the Joy News channel. Grateful for your time. You're watching The Pulse. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. We're excited to bring you a good news. Adansi Travels is 10 years, and we are fortunate to have in studio now General Manager of the group, Johnson Niao Chuks, and also Marketing Manager Richard Ni Odoy. They'll be sharing, of course, some juicy offers that they have at their outfits with us. Gentlemen, it's good to have you after talking about AI. This is the big deal that we need to look at. Indeed. So let's talk about your journey so far. For many who do not know the story of where it all started from, where did it start from? Yeah.
Okay, so as you clearly can surmise from the name Adansi, Adansi is the name of the people who inhabit a part of the Ashanti region, specifically Obuasi.
Oh.
So we started from Obuasi. So rightfully so, we thought it perfect to have a name to honor our humble beginnings, hence the name Adansi Travels. When people ask me this question, I always tell them it's a story of tenacity, it's a story of perseverance, it's a story of determination, and also a story of trying to make a mark and put a trademark in the travel industry. So this is how far we've come from humble beginnings, still humble, going on and hoping to set a pace.
Any milestones, any changes along the line?
Changes along the line, of course, we've moved from our original location to Accra.
Higher levels.
And one milestone I'll talk about is the fact that in the height of COVID, of course, with all precautions taken, we're able to sell Ghana in the Middle East, that is specifically Dubai, with over 600 patrons.
Wow.
Yes, so that's one milestone we've been able to show. And of course, the World Cup we send supporters there to cheer our Black Stars on. So that's our story. So
well, it's been an exciting journey, I must say. But looking forward into the future, Ni, what do you see looking into the crystal ball? I'm sure you always have something new coming up. So what's there for
so looking
our
at
viewers to know?
The past years and what we've been doing, we're looking at the 10 years milestone that we've been able to chalk now. And we say a dance is a vibe now. So we want to give the vibe that we feel we've been trying to put together for all these years and the feeling that people are having to do with now. So for our 10 years, we are saying we want to give you the vibe. And what everybody would say, what is the vibe?
What's the vibe? Yes.
And the vibe is actually we telling you that you've seen so many things that are done always the way they have to be done, but there's a different way that it's been done. We have a fully chartered Emirates flight, which are taking Ghanaians from here to Dubai, so that we are going to have our 10th anniversary well celebrated in Dubai.
Hey, not in Ghana.
No. But you see, the secret is...
this is amazing.
Yeah, the secret is...
What's inspiring this?
Okay, for over the years, we've been always doing Dubai and doing other destinations. And the truth is, we always feel we need to go to the next level. And the next level is anytime we go, we have different people joining us to have this fun. We thought this time we should have only Ghanaians moving together to be able to have this fun together. And the truth is, we added a legend to it because we want people to know that there is a legendary feel we are giving. And we have the Samini to be part of this special trip that we are going to have. And the truth behind all this that we've put together is to be able to allow our consumers who have been with us for all these years to also get the good part of Dubai. And we are not going to do only Dubai, but we have so much that I'm going to put across to your viewers today.
Yeah, you have to put me on that list.
You'll be on the list. You're already on the list. I mean, we can't.
And there are so many people out there asking, okay, so how do I become a part of this exciting trip?
Okay, so for you to become a part of it, just go on our website at www.adansetravels.com. Go on all our social media handles, Adanse Travels, Instagram, yes, all our social media handles, Twitter, you'll be part. Richard here would mention the numbers to call.
All right, yeah.
So you call 059 55 00 817. I'll take that again.
Yes, slowly so that the people can follow. And I'm sure that we'll put this on the screen so that people can easily pick up the contacts then.
You call 059 55 00 817.
Again.
059 55 00 817.
So Samini is going to be on?
He's on. He's not going to be, he's on. It's going to be as if we are now bringing him.
And wait, when you say Dubai, you know we have the Ghanaian Dubai. I want to be sure what you're talking about.
Dubai. So he's going to be on. He's going to be on the flight. He's going to like interact with patrons whilst on the flight. And the thing Rich didn't mention is going to be a Ghana themed flight. So we are having Ghanaian food. Everything is going to be Ghanaian on the flight. We want people to have that feel that that people should reminisce when we used to have a Ghanaian flight. Where you have everything Ghanaian on board, so that's the level we want people to take people to. He's on board. There's going to be a concert in the desert, so you can imagine. Yes, it's going to be a full.
Okay, so how about the timelines? Are you going to do this just once, or you plan to repeat it for a season?
Good. So there are various destinations which is going to happen in a phase. So we have different times, and like I said, different destinations. So there's the anniversary is going to go on in Ghana. There's the Ghana version, there's the West African version, there's the Asian version, there's the European version, and also people should just call. We will just give you where you would want to be and be with us to celebrate.
Okay, so you get to decide where you want to be.
Every package has been curated to serve your need, your need, and any specific interest you have. So it's not just about Dubai. There are other destinations which we have. For example, we are doing a 9-city tour in Europe where we are going to Slovenia, we are going to Czech, we are going to Budapest, all. So, and we have a tour for Nairobi, Zanzibar, and we also have Marrakesh, Abidjan, and Agadir and Casablanca. So there are lots of destinations to choose from. But if you want to bash with us in the desert, then you need
to join
Samini. The one with Samini.
Okay, but are you willing to put out maybe the list, at least how much someone would have to put together to get any of the packages?
So for Dubai, it's coming at least, it's going for 9 days, 8 nights at $1,650.
US dollars.
US dollars. your flight is covered, your breakfast is covered, 2 dinners are covered, your concerts is also covered, you have your airport transfer, your visa, and trust me, you won't get this anywhere.
And you get free pictures with Samini.
You get free pictures with Samini. And not just Samini, free pictures with people in the tour. I mean, there are people you can interact with. It's a networking opportunity. You know, it can be even a soulmate searching opportunity.
For those of us who are
single, you know, so trust me, it's very, it's multifaceted.
Yeah, amazing.
So, you know,
okay, but for the other packages, which other which other packages do you have?
What we tried to do was to be able to break them into phases. So we have the Ghana package, which we are doing a whole lot of destinations in Ghana.
Okay, so even within your planning a trip, so it's not just
on 15th of July, we have the Safari Valley that we are doing.
Okay.
And there also people will get to enjoy that with Samin. We have the best of the north that we'll be doing. We are doing the best of the west. We are also doing Akosombo. So we have all these ones that have been put together as local trips that we are doing. We have some that are just 2 days, some are just a day trip, you come back.
Okay.
After that, this is a special one we are doing. It's for Africa. You know, we are in Ghana, but people do not know even just Togo.
Yeah.
They don't know Benin, they don't know Nigeria. So we have a
surrounding
package that we've put together for Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria. And this is the package that we are selling in Ghana. So it's just 10,990.
For you to move.
And it's a road trip, a 1 week
But to be honest, if in a single trip to one of the destinations would cost you. Yeah. I mean, to be fair.
This is 7 days. We are doing this in 7 days. You get to see all these countries and witness and have that feel that you are looking for. After that, we have the best of the South. So we are doing South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia.
All together.
Yeah. And that also comes with the climax of the Victoria Falls, which is one of the beauty of Africa.
Wow.
And like what Johnson said, we have the Morocco Ivory Coast. After that, now we move to Nairobi, Dubai. We have Rwanda, Dubai, which is the cleanest country you'd have in Africa. When we are done with all of this, we move now to the Arab states. We have Abu Dhabi, Dubai. We have Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. This is 3 in 1. This is the one you don't have to be, but I have to just tell your viewers, the Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar is full up.
It's sold out.
It's sold out.
Sold out, like sold
so
out.
we won't. Some of us won't get
it's sold
there.
out. You have to choose a different destination.
So you see, like most times when we come around, we tell them it's
the
running.
excitement is,
yes, and like the Europe is also sold out.
Sold out, yeah. The 3 Europes you have are sold
out. But I have a special one.
So why are you still telling
I have a special one. I have a special one that we brought out.
Mm-hmm.
That's for Asia.
Right.
We are doing Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia.
All right.
And this is a cruise. You get to have 3 days on a cruise ship that takes you to Malaysia. Right. From Malaysia, you get to go to the almighty Bali in Indonesia. And everybody wants to see Bali.
Yeah.
From Indonesia, you come back to Singapore and spend the rest of the days. And just before we got here, we had to cook this one. And I want everybody to just run and just come for it. It's Nairobi, Zanzibar.
Wow.
I know now everybody wants to do Zanzibar.
Okay, because we don't have all of the time, and let me just wrap up with you. If someone decides to go for everything, is it possible?
No, it's possible. It's about your time. So come to us.
Okay.
We'll sit down with you. We'll plan it for you so you can do everything.
All the trips. So it's possible.
Oh, why not? It's possible. And at least you can do something that would get you, let you have a feel of an overview of everything. Yes, and we have a special package today. Rich will announce it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For your viewers.
Okay, very briefly, if you could just.
Okay,
do
so
that
what we're doing today is anybody who is buying these packages that we've spoken of, any of the international ones that we are doing, you get to have a free package to Safari Valley. We call it buy one, get one free.
Okay, so you are adding that.
We are adding that to it because we feel now they are saying Dubai, then you will not get to experience Ghana. So we want you to buy the Dubai package or buy any of the international packages. Immediately you call the number we mentioned out, and I'll mention it again before we
before
you get to have a free Safari Valley on 15th of July, and you get to experience that with Samini.
So the number again is?
The number is 059-55-00817.
Okay.
And if you call this and is engaged, you can call 059-38-64-278. I'll mention the 2 numbers again, 059-55-00817. Or you call 059-386-4278.
when you have a marketing manager, you don't need the main boss to speak anymore. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And this is why I believe Adansi Travels will survive for the, next coming years. Indeed, they are 10, and we have to congratulate you for the partnership also with the multimedia group. Thank you for spending some time with us. And that's all we have for you in this package of The Pulse. I'm Blessed Sogan. Log on to myjoyonline.com. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.